Good stuff. And oh, need dial-up stuff. Okay, I'm gonna just exit this briefly, and Donna sent another message. I need dial info. Okay, which would be that's. Hang on a second. CDAC community agenda. I'm going to forward this to Donna Daw. Try to. I'll show how inept I am at this. I can't figure out how to forward this. There we go. And okay, so I fired her off the contact info again.
Okay. So you're sharing your screen with your emails and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to quit doing that.
Okay.
Do that.
I just realized I was slow to realize. I'm like, okay, we're seeing your screen, no big deal. And then it was like, oh, this is public record. So
yeah. Okay. So as I say, I shouldn't be allowed to choose virtual background tree. No, this isn't giving me what I want, but we'll see if we can just go for this here. Trying to change the view here. Okay, so we're going and we're being recorded. Is it going to our YouTube channel?
yes, it is. We're live already.
Perfect.
I can still see all your emails, Bob.
Oh, can you? Okay, so I've got to figure out how to quit sharing the screen here. My apologies.
Let me see if I can cancel that.
Oh, stop share. I found it.
Okay, you got it? Okay.
Got it. How's that?
That's good. I cleared it.
Thank you.
So learning new stuff every day.
I know. Some of which I could do without.
Yeah.
Like high technology is a pain.
Well,
yeah.
You get an absurd feeling of satisfaction when it finally works for you.
Sometimes yes, and other times it's just like, wow, how many minutes did I just waste on that?
Yes, very much so.
So while we're waiting for Donna to connect, is this our last meeting?
Certainly, if you'd like to make it your last meeting for the summer, something may come up in during our discussion.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll wait, give Donna a chance. I'm going to try her phone number again. She gave me.
Yeah, like I'm curious, like if there's, I guess my question is more from a official perspective, and as we head into summer and the election season and stuff like that, if there's an impact on our meeting schedule.
Well, the council goes to one meeting per month in the summer. Okay. And if you'd like to, we've got, hang on a second, one last try here to find.
No problem. Oh. You can single task. I'll stop trying to distract you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just not that good at the multitasking here. We're on now. Okay, should be. Here's the phone number. I'm just going to phone her right now, okay, and see if she can make it up. Because it'd be nice to have quorum for our discussion. It's mostly Mike. You saw the reply from Doug.
Yes, I just received it about 3:30, which is great. So I can talk to that.
No local? I'm not sure what that means. What the hell? Oh, these are all US. Whatever numbers.
Oh, I had that. How did I get around this? Because I had that problem as well.
I think she can just,
Donna's iPhone just popped up.
How did, Bob, did you end up calling me when I did the road call?
oh, before, yes, actually, I think I held my phone for you.
Okay.
So we had.
So I'm in my car on Zoom because
Ah,
there's no local number and I don't have a US plan.
gotcha.
Sorry about all this, guys.
Oh, no worries.
2-hour meeting went 5.5 hours.
Oh, how much do you not like those people right now?
Well, seeing as the owner, not much. So yeah. But anyway, sorry about that.
All in a good way. Tomorrow will be better.
Yeah, let's hope. I don't have any meetings with them. Okay.
So Donna, what I'll do, I'll take notes for you. And
Thank
I'll
you. For me.
send it to you after the meeting.
You're on the hot
Thank
seat
you.
tonight, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay. And Bob's going to display the agenda again.
Okay. I can remember how I did it last time. There we go.
Team effort.
What's that?
Said it's a team effort.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up again. And how did I share my screen last time?
I would help, but
Share
my
screen,
options
send it.
display differently.
I found it again.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. And am I sharing now? Your screen sharing. Okay, so I should bring up this.
So we got your emails again, Bob.
Yeah, well, perhaps we can do, I'm going to stop the share.
I'll just,
And
Helen, while Bob's doing that, can
First
you
thing is
make a
call
note?
meeting to order.
Oh.
Hello?
I was just going to say, Helen, while Bob's getting organized, could you, not getting organized, that's the wrong word. Could you make a note, Helen, to ask for a local dial-in number? Because you came across the same situation the last time too.
And yeah, until you said it, I had totally forgotten that I had challenges last time.
Yeah,
Making that note right now.
thanks.
Okay, done.
Thanks.
while you were connecting, Donna, Helen brought up the question about when our next meeting would be, if we would have one. So what I maybe should do is we could add that to new business at the end of the session, and then we can talk about that.
Okay.
Good. So we're ready to roll?
All right. Let me
What
just,
time it is?
it is 7:45, so let's call this meeting to order. Okay, so we don't see the agenda,
Oh, I'll get that up right now.
but I think I remember first up is any pecuniary interest to disclose.
Mike has none.
None. Donna has none.
Helen has none.
Okay. Next item was approval of the agenda.
Okay, approval of the agenda, today's agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Do we have someone to, okay.
Motion to approve. Yeah, motion to approve.
Okay, would someone to second?
Okay. So Michael second.
Okay, perfect. Would number 3 be approval
The
of last
meeting
month?
minutes from May.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Yes,
Did
so
I resend those out to everybody? Because I made the spelling correction. And I thought I'd resent.
I had made a correction to the terms when it stated in there about village owning the treatment plant.
Mhm.
So you were gonna fix that, but I didn't see a new version of
Oh, I
that.
apologize. Okay, I thought I'd resent. So let's just have minutes not approved because they need to be resent. How's that?
Okay. Okay.
Was that the only change?
No, it was, I had a spelling error in ZVIP as well.
Okay. If we, can we, you said you did them, so can we just approve them or do we need to see them before we approve them?
Well, my suggestion too on the minutes, do you want me to try that screen sharing thing again?
Okay.
I think I might be able to pull it off this time.
I
I'm
have
gonna
the
make
same
technical experts out of all you guys yet.
How did that work? Do we have it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You should have, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. So the, yes, in the minutes, yeah, it's the statement that just a slight rewording, currently 320, well, it's 372 households, I believe, and the new 80 homes are the payers of the sewage treatment plant. That be it? Are they finance it, basically. They're not the owners. I keep trying to make that distinction and I keep getting corrected that the debt owed on the sewage treatment plant, even though the municipality doesn't pay it, the people that are on it pay it, it's still considered municipal debt. So the municipality is the owner of the facility.
We just have to remove the word cannot.
Own the facility, exactly. And a more accurate number of households is 372 households.
Plus the 87 new.
Yes, and then there'll be
Okay.
87. Yeah.
And so
80,
owners in
yeah.
that, in point A, should that be, are the payers
Yeah.
of the sewage treatment plant?
Basically they're the ones that pay for the sewage treatment plant. So you
Okay,
could just say
if-
that everyone that is currently on or will be on the sewage, sewer and water are the ones that pay for the sewage treatment plant.
Okay. Okay, so owners needs to be removed and replaced with payers or pay for the sewage treatment
Pay for
plant.
the sewage treatment plant, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then municipality does own the facility,
Yeah.
and then controlled development on the capacity is the current course of action is
That's
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, and everything
And
else.
it was a ZVIP. I spelled ZVIP wrong on one of them.
Okay,
Okay, so I've got A changes to owners, changes to payers of the sewage treatment plant. And B, cannot gets removed and say to basically can. Or does.
does,
actually.
yeah.
Does own the facility, yeah. Oh, wow, I've got a pencil now. God, how'd that happen?
Okay. And Donna, was there a typo somewhere you said?
Yeah, it was a ZVIP. It was one of the ZEVIP. I misspelled on one of them.
Okay.
Helen caught it.
Oh, yeah, right. It was missing the P, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so then can I make the motion to approve the amended minutes?
Second,
There you go.
Nice.
And Donna, do you second?
yes, sorry. Second. I think I just ran a red light camera.
No, that's not good.
No, I'm like, crap.
Okay,
Was
so
there-
the item was business items. And under that was a VZIP program update. Well, I can give a bit of an update on that. So I had sent everyone, actually, back on May 31st, CAO Doug sent out his version of the application text and the application itself to myself. And I had replied back to him with corrections. It was limited to 500 words, and each block he basically had too many words in it. So I shortened it down, and I also made some additions. I had sent him that version the next day, and he replied back to me. That was on the 31st of May. he replied back to me on the 3rd and said basically that I offered to help and do the application right away. And he had said basically that he was just so busy with the election stuff, he couldn't do it, and he would basically get back to me in a week. That was on the 3rd of June. On the 15th of June, today, I never heard anything more from him. And so I sent him an email today asking basically what the status was and if he still needed my help. So he replied back at around 3 o'clock, a little after 3 today. He sent me the latest version of the visa application text, which I had forwarded to him before. Basically, he accepted all of the changes I made, except that he had added a change, which was to remove the owner's name for the boatyard, who was going to be working on the electric boats. I guess there's due diligence happening there that until they actually announce what they're doing, they didn't want it to be public. So Doug removed any references to the electric boat name of the company. He still mentioned that the technology was happening in the village. And so the changes he's made, just like I said, he just sent them today, a little just before 4 actually. I just finished going through them. There was like 2 typos that I spotted. So I'm just gonna send those back to him. So as far as the text is concerned, looks like we're good to go. My issue was, as I mentioned today when I sent him my initial message today, was the fact that I'm very worried that we may have missed this window for the grant application, because it was only open for first come, first serve, and they only had so much money, and once they used it up, it was gone. So I'm still concerned about that. But meanwhile, we've got an application contact that we can use. I had also gone through the actual application and sent Doug some notes on some missing sections of the application where he hadn't inputted any data. I gave him what the data should be and asked some questions about the cost. So right now, what I'm about to reply, Doug's reply to me was basically that here's the versions of if I looked at it and it was okay, he said he was going to submit it. My question back to him today was which I had obviously just sent recently to him, so I haven't got a reply. His reply to me was the fact that he was going to go ahead and send the submission, but I'm concerned that there were still questions about the location of the electric charging station. I had in my reference originally to the location, I had mentioned that probably Reed Street across from the community center would be the best location in the village, because you need to have power access, and it has to be somewhere where you can have vehicles parked where it won't basically impede traffic. So I had Doug replied back that he thought Reed Street was a good place to call up on the application. So we probably could go with that, and that gives us a location. The issue is still about the cost. So one of the concerns that the council had was the fact that, what is the final cost? And so the cost that I had found up to date was the cost of the plant. So the equipment, and in addition to that, you have the installation cost of basically hooking up the power and digging up the trenches and the mechanical, physical, barriers you have to put in. So there is cost there. It's not a huge cost, but I was concerned, and I replied back to Doug that before we submit the application, do we still need to have those kind of numbers? So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and just on that note, Mike, yes, I was obsessing about the location as well, and realized that trying to get into a conversation with Parks Canada or anyone else, for now, when we make the application, if it's on municipal property, we can see if we can move it if we actually get the grant. But putting it at the rink house actually makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Bob, if this were to come to fruition and we were to do it at the community center, with the upgrades to the community center, would we be able to leverage some of that work to minimize the costs of installing an EV? Like if they're doing electrical work anyway, could, you know, and they're doing trenches anyway, could that be leveraged? And do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I don't know that the renovations to the community center, I believe, are going to be the installation of a basically an air filter system to accompany a large generator, natural gas generator, that will make it a suitable cooling center during a power outage.
Okay.
So the generator has to be large enough to run the air conditioning, et cetera, for the community center. So it'll make it an independent structure, which really suits, particularly in the last month or so, people recognize that, yes, having access to a building with power is critical.
Okay.
And even during, you know, we always think in the winter, but it can happen in hot weather too.
Yeah.
If I may interject, so the location for the EV charging station wouldn't be on the community center.
Oh,
Across the street. It's
okay.
beside the rink.
Yeah.
And there's a major
Yeah.
hydro pole there, which has transformers on it and a whole bit. So the cost of the installation on the power side would be very relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
Because all literally you have to do is add another pole and a string of wire across.
I'm sure Hydro will have something else to say about that.
Yes.
So it's on the building. And actually, I did look at the building to see if we could put it on the building. But there's physically, you have to have cars to be able to drive in and connect to it head on.
Mhm.
And it's not like you can do it sideways. So you need somewhere where you can drive into it and have a pole in front of you with a connection. For these EV cars, the charging ports are typically on the front of the car.
Okay. So what Bob said makes sense. Put in a best guess on the location, and keep in mind that that may change, or that kind of gives the council time to find a prime location. I think there's a lot of things that will probably come up that we haven't considered, or when we get to the technical level, will play into what locations are feasible.
I think
So the location's not contingent on the grant, like the grant application's not contingent on a location being finalized then?
No, I don't believe
Like
so.
if we get the grant, we can reconsider and put it elsewhere.
Yes, if necessary, or we
Okay.
go with the idea of putting it on municipal property. Down the
Okay.
road, the sales pitch is always that, you know, we're set up for the village to have electric vehicles too, so. Or for the
And,
municipality itself. So,
and because the municipal property is both on Reed Street, the town hall and the rink.
Yeah.
You can just put Reed Street and then when they come to give you the grant, they'll come and inspect it. And that time you can just say, well, it's this one, not that one. So I think we're okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only issue then is the cost thing. And so I was going to get back to Doug about that.
well, and the other thing about the costing, I reread some of it, and it's up to 5,000 per plug, but it's still 50%. So they're not funding 100%. But
Right.
as you mentioned, the total cost, once council gets a look at the total cost, I still think it's very affordable. It's a good kickstart for an electric vehicle charging program in town.
And the other thing too is it's 50% of the total cost, not just the cost of the installation. So
Okay,
you can actually include a lot of costs, which actually are cost on paper, but don't physically cost the village anything. An example of that would be planning and coordination and inspections. All those things the village already does. They already have people paid to do that. But that cost can be added to the cost of the total installation. So you kind of write off the cost. So at the end of the day, you can actually have other costs, which on paper look exorbitant and will consider basically pay for the whole damn thing. And you just have to be able to do the due diligence to actually look for these other things. And I did list those, and I did send those in the email I sent out to Doug, where I put all of those additional costs that can be added to the final cost to basically remove any cost for us. So he has the information, he just has to use it.
excellent.
I just had a thought on this. Now, we're far from saying this is a go, but I think it would be a helpful and interesting piece of information to share with maybe a couple of the other advisory committees and definitely the Chamber of Commerce, to say the municipality is exploring electric vehicle charging stations, and they are going forward with putting in a proposal. That way, say the chamber or the tourism committees can work that into their plans, or start thinking, or even further the conversation with council if they think that this is something that they can leverage in their advertising.
I think that's already happened. I don't know if you saw the latest version of the Phoenix, but the mayor in his article he puts in there.
Yeah, already in the monthly.
Okay.
It was already in the mayor's message in the monthly Phoenix.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Check that idea then. We can just erase it. Or maybe that's where I saw it and I just don't remember it.
I think you got I forwarded another bit of the latest from Flow. You remember the company that Kingston used that did their, and they've, so the latest iteration of this grant proposal is on until August, the middle of August, essentially. It's 56 days, I think, the countdown clock on their
Okay.
Their website said 56 more days for that program. So it's still out there, the program. So we may have to wait till, we'll have to wait till the end of August, I suppose, before we find out whether we were successful or not.
Okay, which is fine. I think our last conversation was kind of, let's go forward with this and learn from it. And if the grant comes through, fantastic. And if it doesn't, we still have advanced the cause leaps and bounds, right? We've made the contacts, we're familiar with the grant process. We've put the issue in front of council. They've thought about it. So lots of wins.
Yeah.
From this whole
You're going to do
experience.
this again next year for sure. This is something that's not going away. This is going to be the future. So there will be more.
Yeah. Yeah, and other sources, other levels of government and whatever else that comes up. So we're ready for this one and for all others. Okay, cool. So does that wrap that one up? Anything else?
So on my side, all I was going to do was I'm going to forward a few typos back to Doug and just ask him the question about the financing, if he wants to explore that more. If he's okay with that, then I'll basically say, go for it.
Yeah.
Put in the application.
Okay, good.
There, so it's ready to go.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I sent out a photograph of what the station might look like. I thought, I just wonder what you thought of it. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, is that the one from, was that one of the ones from Kingston?
No, it was just one that came up on Facebook, on the internet, and I guess it's one of the contractors that I had communicated with. He sent me a link to it, and so it was a picture showing one of those little splat cars on a station that has all the pavement all marked out. It would look really nice with a pole and the chargers on it.
Okay. Yes, I did. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was, thank you for sharing that, Mike.
Great. So the next item on the agenda was the Leeds and Grenville Tourism Survey response status.
Okay, so yeah, we received that request very short notice. I think there was maybe about a week to 10 days notice on that. And we submitted, we got our responses in. So thank you, Donna and Mike, for putting that together. I reviewed it as well, and it was like, okay, I agree with everything that you've said. So I think my contribution to yours, so what I did was took your responses, merged them together. And then I think the only thing I added was, like a water sport strategy in line with the cycling strategy that the two of you had mentioned. Otherwise, everything was like completely in line, and I had nothing to add by the time I saw it. So So I forwarded that, got it in on time. I think that was, anyway, it was received, and I have not heard anything since.
No, you won't hear anything till the middle of August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I inquired about that with Doug, and he said, no, we won't be getting any results back. He seemed to think like 2 weeks was pretty ambitious. Actually, let me find, if I can find it, his reply, but basically he was telling me that, yeah, it's not going to happen right away. They have to collate the data. Let me just check and see if it came in on a text instead.
And I think it's great that they're doing that. I think they
Yeah.
really need to do this, because this is a tourism area. We need tourism.
And I think this went to the Chamber of Commerce as well, and I'm not sure what other groups fed in. It would be interesting to see what the other responses locally were, to see how aligned we are, or how we can work together on moving things forward. Like, it's interesting that three of the three of us from this committee came forward with cycling and the water sports, kayaking, canoeing, that kind of stuff as things to develop. So that's something to be leveraged, whether in the future on this committee, if the other committees also came up with something like-minded, that sends a very strong message. I think that's something that council should focus on. So maybe that's something that we should do, is look at the other responses and see what we can learn from them.
Can I ask what the actual outcome of the survey will be, Bob? Do you know? Like, will it be like a summary of everybody's comments, or will they just say we're going to action A, B, and C, or what would it physically be? Because maybe that would answer your question. If it's a summary of everybody's comments, well, then you can see what everybody else had to say and when they publish it.
Mind you,
No, I'm not certain, Mike, what the format's going to be for the information they gather. Now that it's what was the scope? Do you recall whether the scope was the full county, or was it just more localized?
County.
Grenville.
It's full county.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be breaking things down. I'm not sure how geographic it'll be, but or whether it'll, like, we are in a bit of a unique situation. Well, we're very similar, I guess, to Westport in terms of municipalities that are tourist destinations. So I'm not sure how it's going to how they're going to massage the data.
Yeah, like if they went and contacted our Chamber of Commerce as well, and they provided some sort of response, to me it would be interesting how they responded on what their priorities were, and then so if only to say, okay, we have alignment and we have a common cause to move forward on, or if there was something different, how it was different, and to learn from each other, basically. So really what the other respondents from Merrickville had to say.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with the data.
Yeah.
But it also is a regional initiative, so I don't know if they're going to be able to drill it down to community against others, because it was picture regionally.
Yeah, like if
for context.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is just to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce. Hey, did you guys respond to this questionnaire? If so, do you mind sharing your responses, and we'll share ours? So outside of the, not going through, I think it was Anne who spearheaded the larger study, but just one-on-one as on a local level.
Maybe that's something you can do, Helen. Just send an email to Robin and just say, we replied, and here's our comments. Did you have any? And we just literally ask.
Yeah. Okay.
And that sounds good. And here I have Doug Robertson's reply, because I did ask him, what is the status of the tourism survey? Are the results available? And his reply was, I'm assuming that the committee is asking about the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville regional tourism strategy. If so, the results aren't expected for a month or more yet.
Okay.
Always good to get the direct wording.
I mean, that in itself will be interesting, the larger regional response and you know how they see things piecing together. So yeah, that'll be interesting when that becomes available as well. Okay, and yeah, that's all. I guess, Bob, you have more of an update on that than I do. I can only say what we did, what our contributions were, and you have more updated information.
Yeah, and it's as soon as I mean, and like later on tonight, we'll decide whether we're going to meet again, but I can still keep sending the committee information too as it comes in.
Okay.
So you're not going to be cut off or anything like that. Over the summer, as I get information, I can still forward it to the committee.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that takes care of that item.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda was a council update from Councillor Foster.
And I believe that's pretty well it, unless we, as far as council business has been going, we've been doing a lot of, basically approvals for changes to the official plan. And that was just an aggregate response to aggregate's a big deal in your official plan. And so we had to make an alteration to the official plan in order to permit a severance and for someone to build. They keep these aggregate deposits on record 100 years after they've petered out, if you follow me. So anyway, not to get too into the weeds on that, but we've been doing a lot of that sort of work at council. And other than that, nothing too huge coming up. We're kind of, how would you put it? Just managing, I guess, managing the municipality.
Okay.
And there's concerns people have about everything from spraying to lawnmowers, et cetera, So, yeah.
Do you have any information, speaking of that, do you have any information on whether in the past couple of years, dragonflies have been released to deal with the mosquitoes?
I actually asked a member of the Ministry of Natural Resources about that. And his reply to me was, we've never actually released dragonflies, but we've never denied it because it's great, free, positive publicity.
Oh, so who did it? Because I could use them. The mosquitoes are horrible.
Yes, exactly. No, from what I understand, I know it's a very popular, I'm not sure if it's a full-on urban myth or if this person was, but they did work for MNR and they said, we've never denied it. We've never done it, but we've never denied it because it's great, positive publicity.
So I thought I saw something on the Leeds Grenville site last year about this. So maybe it's at the municipal level and not at the MNR level.
I suppose. I'm not certain, I'm tempted to just Google it right now and see if Ministry of Natural Resources does.
So anyway, to get us back on topic, sorry for the little personal side trip. So is there anything, maybe now's a good time to ask about our summer schedule and in particular the election coming up in the fall? That's not till what, November?
Yeah, but we'll be approaching, if we are not already in it, we'll be approaching the lame duck phase of council.
Okay.
Which occurs pre-election in an election cycle. And it doesn't handcuff us over. We're still doing the business of the municipality, but okay. It's firings, more so firings, etc. You can't get too drastic in your last couple of months trying to buy votes before an election. So
okay.
We are limited once we enter this lame duck cycle.
And the expectations of the committee are just to keep going forward and with the work that we do.
Yes, basically, if you want to, we don't have a project in front of us right now. There's a couple that we could propose for the committee, but council goes down to one meeting per month in the summer. Okay. If you would like to take the summer, like you've got your June meeting, if you'd like to skip a July and an August meeting, and I'll keep information flowing on the grant proposal, and unless there's another project that you'd like to take on.
I think we open this one up to the floor.
Well,
I
guess-
can't see personally how much we can take on, knowing that council will be disbanded, and which means the committees then are disbanded. So we have to be mindful of that.
Mhm. Yeah, so,
Yes. Brings us to the actual point of the new business where we're going to talk about if we're going to have more meetings. So we had discussed that, very quickly before. And the concern that we had was, as Donna just mentioned, that the council's in lame duck mode. Anything we recommend can't be actioned, right? So it kind of puts us in a place where I think it's kind of like, if something comes up that's urgent, we could always meet. Unless there's something that's, really time sensitive or whatever. There's nothing to stop us from doing that.
I agree.
Is that just for the summer? So we would reconvene in September, or at all, like right up until the election?
well, would you like to, if I can just jump in,
Yeah.
would you like to suspend meetings until we get a reply back on the application, the grant application? And then we can I'll forward any information that I have on that back to the committee, and then the committee can meet again to review the hopefully successful grant application. Does that,
Yes.
Yeah, does that work for the committee?
That works for me. Yeah.
I think that'd be great. I think that's one of the major items that we have happening right now. Unless something else comes up,
Would we say suspend it until there's news on that front and the tourism strategy from
I think that would be a good way to phrase it, that you're on hiatus until the results come back from the tourism strategy and the grant application. And then I'll keep you posted on all of the any emails I get that are relevant to the CDAC. I'll forward them out to you.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, that
Yeah.
works.
And I'll double check with Doug and make sure that that's permissible. I'd mentioned that because we had spoken before, but perhaps the committee taking the summer off at least, and I didn't hear any massive gasp of no. But I would certainly keep you posted on that. You still all have your emails open, so I can still fire them off to you.
Okay. Yeah, and if anything else urgent or surprising or pressing came up, then you would let us know as well, right?
Oh, certainly. And if there's, because a couple of things had been mentioned, but they didn't seem to be that relevant to me. But I will certainly forward any suggestions that come to me onto the committee, so the committee can decide
Okay.
whether they'd like to pursue them or not.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
Perfect.
But you guys, particularly, you've got a busy summer ahead of you, I'm sure. We all do.
Yeah. Yes, I am looking forward to summer and letting a few responsibilities go.
Yeah, exactly. You want to try and pare it down.
so right now we'll leave the next meeting to be sort of TBD.
Yeah.
And until we get response.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Well,
I
Do
I'm
we
think
need
excited
to,
about.
Motion to adjourn.
I
do
guess
we need to motion that part about our next meeting, or we don't need to any motions on that?
No, it's just a conversation, right?
Okay.
And it's on the meeting minutes, so there's no vote needed. Because the
Okay,
next
sounds
meeting
good.
date is TBD, right? So the next meeting date is TBD.
Okay. Okay. I'm all good with that. Okay.
right.
So yeah, if we have no new business from anyone.
I have nothing further.
Motion
Okay.
to adjourn.
Thank you so much, folks.
Okay.
Good night.
I'll
Somebody's
second-
got to second that.
Oh,
Somebody has to second that.
Mike seconds it.
Okay. Good job, Mike.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll
Thanks,
hear
guys.
I'm sure we'll hear from everyone soon, but in the meantime, have a great summer.